Good afternoon. This is Universal News Media. Today is May 30th, 2018. Over the past 48 hours, this channel was bombarded with vulgar, profane, negative comments, all originating from two different offshore call centers. I'm proud to know that I have hit a governmental nerve in order to prompt the hiring of call centers to bombard my channel with bad comments. It's truly amusing. Don't bother looking for them because I'm able to block them as quickly as they appear. Our first video comes from the southeast-facing weathercam in Cheakamus Canyon, British Columbia in Canada. It starts out with the moon looking like a comet with a tail. I'm not sure why. The tail then separates from the comet and it fades away. Daybreak comes and the sun appears to be flashing. Notice the landscape going from bright to dark as the sun flashes. The sun appears in the upper left corner briefly, with prism-colored rings, odd-shaped objects, and reflections. Just as the sun reaches the top of the screen, it develops a sun halo. Notice the size of the halo in this frame, because in the next few frames we're going to see another sun halo 6 to 7 times larger. Now, 30 minutes of images were just removed from this section. So now we can only see the bottom of this enormous halo. The east-facing weathercam in Angoon, Alaska, shows something rising just above the horizon on the left. It casts its reflection upon the water. It may be interesting to realize that the sun is not in this image because the sun is rising in the northeast in Alaska, not in the east. And this camera is facing east. As we go through the video, look at the timestamp. Nearly 2.5 hours later, the sun appears from the north on the left side of the screen. The object we saw rising 2.5 hours ago was not the sun. It was something else. Here is the northeast weathercam in Angoon. The sun is rising near the center, and off to the right is the other celestial object we just saw rising in the last camera footage we looked at. If the clouds weren't so thick, we would see another celestial object rising to the left of the sun. The northeast-facing weathercam captured a black indicator being emitted for an eclipse. These eclipses occur multiple times daily. Here's a common reflection that we see throughout Alaska and Canada, clouds permitting, of course. Notice the sun's reflection on the water. It's often in two different pieces. One is the sun, and the other is NASA's tiny but intense artificial light launched many miles from the Earth's surface, which tracks in sync with the sun. You can see the black center of that equipment easily in this image, but the black center is not always visible. This photo from the southwest-facing camera in Myers Chuck, Alaska, shows that black center of NASA's artificial light, and it's casting a reflection on the water. This reflection can be seen by anyone with or without a camera. The northeast-facing weathercam in Eagle, Alaska, picked up a very large, round object. Both the glare and the atmospheric chemicals make it very difficult to see. Look closely and you can see NASA's artificial light pass over it. This object passes in front of our sun but behind NASA's artificial light so that it's not obvious an eclipse is occurring. Since the object doesn't move, it could be one of NASA's large lenses. Here's a close-up of those frames. And here's a close-up with some contrast applied. Here is another enormous object. However, this one is moving with the sun, but not as fast as the sun, as you can see over the course of 40 minutes in this time-lapse video. Here's a close-up view of those 4 frames. And here are those 4 frames with contrast applied to the celestial object. The contrast works much better if sun and clouds are not included in the contrast. That's why I often apply the contrast to a small area of the screen. It really works much better that way. The southeast-facing weathercam located in Kotzebue captured the red planet that we frequently see. This red planet has a much faster rotation than our Earth or Sun. You must have an IQ of at least 75 to understand why this cannot be a lens flare. It is impossible for a lens flare to reflect faster rotations than the object creating the lens flare. Additionally, in the last frame of this video, clouds moved in and covered up the planet. If this were a lens flare, clouds could not cover it up because the lens flare is in the camera and not behind the clouds. Here's an interesting video from the east-facing weathercam in Kotzebue, Alaska. As the sun moves across the sky, the atmospheric chemicals have created somewhat of a veil appearance. It almost looks as if someone has whitewashed the sky around the perimeter of the sun or taken some paint or something. After a few frames, the red planet comes into view. It's very difficult to see amidst the atmospheric chemicals, but some contrast here helps to bring it into view. The objects we have just viewed are part of an approaching celestial system. Many people ask when the system will make its closest pass to our Earth. A general indication of time is provided in the following screens of text. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe.